Ready?
Yeah, it's fine.
Hi, welcome back to the Evolution Podcast with Mac and Jenn. My name is Jen and this is Mac. And today we are going to talk about why Mac didn't kiss me for 4 months after meeting me.
So this is the date but don't kiss, and adding that don't have sex either.
Date but don't kiss episode.
Yeah. So this is a how do you put it? What's when people don't agree? Controversial.
Yes.
Very, very controversial subject. And the reason that I wanted to do this was because somebody online on Facebook had asked, I'm trying to get back in the scene. I don't know what to do. How do I not fall for people? Like, how do I know they're real, whatever? And I just said, go on lots of dates. Don't fuck, don't kiss, period. Now there's a lot of strategy behind that, but oh my word, did it set people off. Like these women started arguing with me. Notice no men did, but these women began arguing with me about like, well, kiss can tell you a lot, blah, 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 this, that. And I'm like, okay, do you have a great relationship? They're single. Okay, do you like what happened to your previous relationship? Not good. Like they have no evidence, but they're going to argue with me about something that has proven like amazing evidence versus their stories in their minds of what they believe might work or might happen. And I can almost guarantee you that, well, every person that I've said this to has gave me a little bit of like, what? Like even the women that I dated or like everything was like, wait, what? Now, when I'm communicating it, it's very easy. People kind of get it. But when I say it to someone else on their behavior that they should do, not what I should do, it's a whole nother story. And it gets very disruptive. So I'm just going to kind of turn it to you to say I want to know from a different perspective and not me saying, telling other people what to do. I want to get your kind of gather kind of what went through your mind, and we haven't talked about this much, but kind of get your perspective on it, because it's like, what happened? Why did it play out the way it did? Because I this isn't something that I just one day was like, oh, this is what I should do. This was probably nearly 30 years, like 28 years ish, 28 to 30 years of my life of thinking about this, of why this is one of the good ways of doing it. And there could be some intricacies to it on how things work, but there's a very specific reasons plural of why this is important.
I would actually first like to know why you decided to do that or not to do that. So Mac and I, when we started dating, but it took 4 months after our first date is when we had our first kiss. Why?
So, which I've told you, right? Like the reason.
Yeah, but tell our people.
Okay, so what you want me to kind of give a little background on.
Yeah.
Okay. So at the time, I was fresh out of a marriage, right? And it was like there's things that I needed to know where I was first. And typically what happens when you kiss somebody is there's a bond. It doesn't matter who you are or whatever, there's a type of a bond. I was looking for a good relationship. I needed to know kind of what was out there, what was going on, not in a flirtatious way, but like, who am I? Who do I want to be around? And I need to know I'm on the right page. So my intention was to go on several dates, right? To go meet as many people, build friendships, whatever as I could. And so I was like, I don't care how great it was. I mean, even there could be some level of intimacy. I wasn't going to kiss because what if the next day I was going to go on another date? And if I were to kiss someone and then date another girl the next night and then kiss her, what happens is there's a competition that begins inside of that. However, if I go to coffee with someone on one day, like let's say Thursday, and then Friday I meet Jen and I go to dinner with her and we have a great time. And then Saturday I go to a movie with another person and we have a good time and have a conversation, but there's no kissing involved. It's very easy. It's just like she if she's going to get offended over me going on a date to meet somebody or just have a good time or build a friendship, instantly I'm going to be like, you're not the one, move along. Because what's the threat? I'm a guy just out of a marriage. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm building friendships. This isn't intimate enough for you to be worried about it. And if you're insecure, then you're done. However, if I kiss, which is to me is a very intimate thing, especially for a woman, like for a guy, it can mean nothing. For some women, it can mean nothing. And those weren't the women I was looking for anyway. Those are the like, they just will be porn stars. They're broken. They have shit going on in their minds. They're not something I'm looking for. And it was something that I repelled very accurately with the way I describe myself. So when I'm going through this, it's like, this will work. And this also protects her as much as it does me. Because if I get involved emotionally into like, I leave one relationship, I jump into another relationship. I don't know who she is. How the hell am I going to know who she is in a couple days? That's impossible. Now I can have feelings. Okay, great. I have strong feelings. God tells me she is one, blah, blah, blah. But I don't care what somebody says. Okay, good. Well, you can be patient. Delayed gratification is one of the keys to manifesting, one of the keys to revealing the truth, one of the keys to your growth, period. And if you don't have the discipline inside yourself for a little bit of delayed gratification, you're weak and you need to work on yourself, not go find somebody else to fulfill a need that you probably have of some healing bullshit or some past trauma that you're just trying to fulfill. So lots of stuff goes into this: subconscious programming, emotions, energies, triggers, all this stuff, and a personal discipline that's required to a successful life. And so as we're looking at these different things, I'm like, that's a conversation I don't want to play in. I just don't. It's like once that boundary is broken, there is some level of commitment, whether it, people can say or verbalize or anything else, but you emotionally tie into people. A kiss means something very powerful. And, to me, there's physical things that people can do, but I took it and I made it important by singling out something as little as a kiss and saying, I will not kiss you until I'm ready to call this a relationship, which doesn't mean I'm committed in a sense of like, I'm fully committed and everything else. It's like, no, I'm just not looking anymore. I'm not going to date anyone else. You're in my relationship. So they kind of went 4 months and I was still talking, having conversations. Now, once she kind of rolled in and I met her, it was like, there was nobody else that compared, so it was kind of easy to kind of keep, we basically saw each other all the time anyway. It was more or less a relationship, but it was kind of like, let me figure out who you are first. And I still had conversations. I still talked to women but it was just like instantly I would know they're no comparison to her. She's secure enough with herself that it didn't set her off. She didn't run away. She didn't make assumptions. So maybe I'm sure there were some things that were challenging to work through, but it's like, I understand that and I hold space for that. But the reality is for me to just jump into something would have been stupid. It literally would have just been like, how would you know? And then there would have been questions in my mind. However, when I do this and I'm not out there trying to get my dick wet or something stupid, I'm assessing who people are, and by doing that, it's actually empowering me to see more in her, right? Because like, okay, here's one, nope, another, nope, nope, nope. As it's happening, I have massive respect for her ability to stay present in this conversation, because the rest of them couldn't handle it. They wanted immediate gratification. They're like, well, I need to know. I'm like, why? Like, you can't fucking wait a little bit. So what's that show to me about you? If there's some disruption in our relationship, or I'm gone out of town for 3 months, whatever, oh, you need to know now. So it's pretty easy for you to just run over to another guy, isn't it? Like, who are you? What's, so there's a lot of things get answered inside this discipline of don't kiss, don't fuck, right? Like just date, experience. And I try to teach this to everybody. Most people won't listen, but if you really want to have a good relationship, try to go on 100 dates. Don't commit to anybody. Try to go on 100 dates. You'll never make it to 100, right? How many did you say you've probably gone on since being
From
divorced?
my divorce to meeting you, I probably went out with about 40 or 50 guys.
Yeah, so a lot, right? Like, and so she knew by that point exactly what she was looking for. And when she found it, and then the boxes kept being checked, and there wasn't any real emotional ties, and it also held her in a space where she really had to assess, like, is this worth it? Because it's like, I'm not committed. Like, this guy's not committing to me. He's still talking to other women. Like, what's going on? And having to be like, but she's like, I still see what I want. So she's very clear. And we just keep dating and dating and dating. But a date is not a fucking commitment. And everybody else that go on a date, oh, it's great. So then now they're in a relationship. What the fuck are you thinking? Like, you don't know this person. You're practically committing to a stranger, and then winding up in a situation that is insane. And now you're trapped because somehow you fell in love with this liar that presented a bunch of things that weren't true or whatever, or doesn't have the emotional capacity. And now how do you trust somebody that fucks on the first date or does whatever? Now, I'm not saying everybody does that, but what I am saying is anybody that can't have a little physical restraint and enjoy that, or gets thrown off by somebody saying, no, I want to go on a date, and over time I want to learn who you are, because I can't learn who you are in a single day. I can't learn who you are in a single month or whatever. I mean, still to this day, we've been together almost a year, and I'm still learning more and more about her, and it's all been good, right? So the reality is, it's like I went 4 months no kiss, and I was like, okay, you know what? It's been proven to me that there's just nothing else like this. And also I got to learn more and more about her, and I fell more and more in love with who she was as just a individual. And it was like, I really began to say, no, this is actually, I think, what I'm looking for, like this, like I can see it clearly now. So then I'm like, no, I'm going to be in a relationship with you, which means I am not looking for another date. I am not looking for another relationship. I'm going to make you my girlfriend, essentially. Now, it's not what I would say 100% commitment, but it is a word. My word is, I'm just looking at you now, period. Right. And so that became a connection, and then we kissed, and, everything has been great. But, then about probably 4 months after that, I think it was 4 or 5 months, maybe even 6 months, I don't know, 4 to 6 months after that, it was to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm committed at this point. Now, there's no ring on her finger yet, or we're not married, but I'm verbally gonna say, yeah, I'm all in. I'm so far all in that if I'm not looking at this relationship like I'm going to marry you, then I'm wasting my fucking time. And so I work in these stages, because I'm like, if this isn't the topic of conversation as far as the relationship goes in my mind, what the fuck am I doing? Right. And then but by switching that into that position of saying, like, now I'm looking to marry her, now I got to deal with some other shit that's in my head, right? Like, am I ready for this? What's it going to cost me? Like, is my business where I want it to be? And I'm like, well, does it really fucking matter? But there's stories that I have to process and challenge through this. So when you're dating, you give the opportunity to work through your own shit, right? She gets to work through hers. When we're in a relationship, now I begin to work through our stuff, right? Still some of my own, but ours, where it's like, okay, what's happening? And then from there, it begins to say, is this something we can, like, actually live the rest of our lives together? And so I begin to ask even deeper questions on this point, where I'm like, okay, is there anything that would derail us in the future? And so I'm constantly thinking about those questions of, like, is there anything that, like, I need to at least ask the question? Because, if she's a drug addict and I need to know about it, maybe I should ask the fucking question. Now, it's like, that's obvious that it's not. I'm being facetious with that. But you never know if you don't ask. And a lot of people are too afraid to ask. But I'm like, I don't want a skeleton coming out of the closet. But now, because I'm married, committed, in love, and everything else, I just like say, oh, it's, oh, we'll just work it out or whatever, and it really screws up the relationship, because, or I could just ask first and choose in or choose out. But once you're in, it's not the same. It's not the same for me. And there's just a process to this. And so I say, be patient, work through it. Mainly, like, don't be a liar, just be honest, and have delayed gratification, have some disciplines. It'll pay off a long time. So, okay, you asked a question, I explained everything. So now you get to explain from your perspective of, like, what went through your mind.
So I guess for me, it was like, at first it was a little bit foreign, or not so much foreign, just kind of like, why doesn't he want to kiss me? Why isn't he kissing me? It was a little confusing, even though he would tell me, it was still like I wanted him to kiss me. And I would tell other people, yeah, we're dating and he hasn't kissed me yet. And my friends would be like, what? He's crazy. Like, some of the guys I would tell, like, what? I can't believe that. And it was shocking to people. But for me, like, I understood what was happening, and he told me what was happening and why we weren't kissing, and like, I was completely okay with it for, I think, many reasons. I think the first reason I was okay with it was because, like, it was just exciting to me, that like that I had no attachment to what was going to happen between us, but like, I was really into him. So I was excited for the kiss, even though I didn't know if it was ever going to come or when it was going to come. So, like, it left some anticipation, I guess, a little bit, some excitement. So that was cool. And then also, I really, like, I want a man that I can respect. And so the fact that he showed such discipline, it like made me respect him even more, I believe. So, like, that's kind of a big deal to me. It's like, if I don't respect the man that I'm with, like, I don't want to be with someone that I don't respect.
Mhm.
And so it really built up a lot of trust and respect. And just like, I admired the fact that you had so much discipline. And the discipline too, like, I want a disciplined man. So, like, not kissing was showing me more about you that I loved. I can respect you. You have a lot of discipline. You're very conscious and, like, think about things. You don't just react or do, like, instant gratification, like you said. Like, you actually think about things, and those things I valued more than the like us just kissing just because I liked you, because I like you, right? Or whatever. And so yes, it was kind of like, oh, I just want him to kiss me, like, I like him so much, and but the fact that he didn't for so long, and like, I wasn't gonna make the move, like, I want to like, I was excited for it. And so but it just showed me so much more about you, and I respected you so much more, I think, because of it. A lot of the guys that I went on first dates with, like, they would try to kiss me on the first date. And I will say, like, some of them, I turned my head. um because I'm like, I mean, a first date, like, I don't want to kiss you. Like, I don't even know you. And like, they would try to go in for the kiss, and I was like, no. And I know that a lot of my first dates didn't turn into second dates because I didn't kiss them,
Hmm.
you know, like, so that was interesting. And I haven't even really thought about that, but like, it's true that I think I turned off a lot of men because I wasn't kissing them.
Yeah, whether they were insecure or wanted more or were just there for a piece of, whatever.
I went over to this one guy's house and he wanted, well, he cooked me dinner. We were going to watch a movie. And during the movie, he tried to kiss me and I turned my head and didn't kiss him, but then I giggled. And I would say just not even 5 minutes after that happened, the movie, we were like maybe 20 minutes into the movie, he was walking me out. So so it was like, I knew that you were different from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I appreciated the fact that we weren't kissing, but it also just gave me so much more, like I was saying, respect and all of that, that like it was okay. And I didn't know what was going to happen between us, but all I knew was that I enjoyed you. I enjoyed your company. We were having fun and there was a lot of growth happening for me for sure. Just and I value growth.
Yeah.
And like it didn't turn me away.
Yeah. And one of the things that I want to add to it was um my objective with a lot of this was, I wanted to meet people, women specifically, and build friendships. And that was one of my goals. And it's like if we can hang out for 4 months without a kiss, I think we got a pretty good damn chance. Right. Like who else does that? No, who else can say, well, what if you don't get what you want for six months? Like, what if there's no sexual interaction or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I mean, just whatever for 4 months, 6 months, whatever, then like whatever. It's like, no, we had a lot of fun. Like we just hung out and just enjoyed each other's company for like a long time. So it was really cool to build that before we got crazy and started doing anything or, any of that stuff. So it was kind of like we built a friendship intentionally. Yes, it was intimate. Like there was some intimacy in there, but there was no kissing and no fucking. So it's just a thing of like, it's a beautiful thing of saying like, look what we built before we even started. That's powerful. And probably because of that, there's way more security on both sides. And she got a lot of growth. I got a lot of comfort that I needed. Just to be around a woman that was secure enough with herself to like be okay with that. Right. Like it and to just be in the experience and just love the moment and be with me, not for some certain type of category of whatever. Right. Like it was just fun. We just really enjoy living life. And so I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, it was good.
Mhm.
I don't really know, what else too much to say.
You'd at one point you'd kind of said something as far as like, um like women do, like if you like when you engage in a kiss, it does change like how you respond to a guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to, I think it might be our last episode where we talked about,
Yeah.
the kiss creates a lot of stories, and that is true.
The
But
romanticizing.
I don't even know if I asked you this, but this was one question that, like, when I was dating, that I planned on asking is the guys is like, how many women think they're in a relationship with you?
Like at that time.
Well, just like when you're like dating around, I would not just specifically you, but like other guys. Cause so if you're a man and you're kissing seven different girls 7 nights of the week, whether you are in a relationship with those women or not, how many of those women think they're in a relationship with you? Like the question is like, how much drama is going on in your life?
Yeah. And for me, you know, granted, once we started hanging out, there really wasn't much of anything. But before I met her, there was two or three that I went on a couple dates with. And they wanted to say they were in a relationship with me, but they knew they couldn't because I had told them exactly what I was doing. I was like, no, we are dating. And I'm like, I might take you on another date tomorrow, but I might take her on another date tomorrow. And they would kind of get offended. I was like, I understand how you feel about this because you're used to some guy tripping over you and giving you all of his fucking attention and everything else. And I think it's absolute fucking bullshit because I don't know who the fuck you are yet. And that's how I spoke literally to them, and it stops them in their tracks, and it kind of executes and eliminates that romanticizing that typically happens. And you know, I'm not trying to be an asshole and thinking I'm all that or anything else, but I'm a damn good fucking catch. Okay. Like you don't stumble onto a guy that's 6'6", fit, coaching, healing type mentality that also is good at the trades industry, that can provide no matter what fucking happens in the world, and willing to continue pushing, has been through multiple failures and just keeps pushing, but yet keeps increasing the level of discipline, and also willing to expose anything and not lie. You know, like it's very rare. So I don't care how I look or whatever. It's like it doesn't matter. Like
He is rare.
I roll across the feed or whatever, the dating app, anything else, I'm 99.9% going to crush all the other guys out there just because there's so much going on. So it's automatic for any woman in her 30s, 40s to want a man like me, period. Like I don't care. Like all I got to do is be somewhat nice. They want me, this period. You know, so I had to be overly clear on how the boundaries needed to be set, because no matter what happened, what I was hoping for is that there could still be a friendship. No matter what, that was my objective. Like no matter what, I would hope that there can be friendships built inside of this, even though there's some level of attraction or intimacy or whatever, but there can be some level of respect. And by me not kissing or doing these things, there was also me showing respect in the fact of like, hey, if you ever wind up with somebody, that person is also going to understand that I have the discipline. They don't need to be threatened by me because I proved that I have the discipline, and maybe we can all be friends. So I was just looking at like the whole picture. Now, most of that didn't work out that way. Now, I do have clients that are women. That's no problem. She coaches men and women. I coach men and women. You got to be pretty damn secure to be able to do that, especially when you know you are getting into their stuff intimately and finding out things that they haven't ever told anybody before. They can try to attach to you very quickly, and you have to be very certain in yourself and how to set boundaries. Now, you can say, well, I'm not trying to do any of that stuff. I don't need to do any of that. So kissing really doesn't matter, blah, 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 blah. Let's just look at the facts here. Do you have an amazing relationship? If you do, no point in you listening to this, is there? If you don't, then you should fucking listen to somebody that has something you want, period. Like
a lot of women will say that they need the kiss to see, to see if there's something there.
Yeah, it tells you a lot.
It tells you a lot.
Does it? It allows you to romanticize. That's what it does.
That's true. I never felt like I needed the kiss to know how I was feeling about you.
Yeah. Well, and if you can fall in love with somebody without a kiss,
it really did I feel like it did, the whole experience made everything just feel more like special. And that first kiss felt kind of magical to me.
Yeah.
So
it was an anticipated moment.
It really was. It was really good. And that, I still felt some certainty with you before the kiss, but then after the kiss, it was like it just made me feel so good inside.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just invested 4 months into a discipline that was like, now I'm giving it all to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it is significant.
In order for me to like feel really like safe, it's like important that like I'm with a man that can not only like lead me, but like lead himself. And by holding that frame
Mhm.
showed me like that, like you are somebody I can trust.
Yeah, and on not just physical levels either,
Right.
on
Like
on
trust and
like an
like
intellectual and emotional,
emotional.
like all these different things. Because when she looks at it and sits back and thinks like, this really worked in so many ways to the advantage of the relationship, it wasn't luck, right? It for me to be able to do that, it took emotional certainty, so she can be like, he's emotionally stable. Now keep in mind, some of the women I dated would be like, no, I need somebody that's emotionally secure. Like, the fuck did you just say? like I'm the one that's not needing some level of emotional certainty. Like, I'm content, but it was a blaming. So instantly I know they're not ready. Right. So one of the best ways to know like in the dating scene or trying to figure out who somebody is, of how they're going to show up. I don't restrict in testing wise, but there is rules of what we teach. It's kind of like, you listen to people that have what you want, otherwise you just listen to some bullshit. And people specifically that have been in where you are, you listen to yourself, as long as it's not the bullshit in your brain, right? Like the bad programming. You listen more to your heart, and your heart can guide you, even if it's to failure or success. You just have to trust it's going to take you where you need to go. And when I say heart, I mean my heart. I do my best to connect with God. Like, those should be one. And if you have a problem with that, that's what you need to heal first. Spiritual is most important in all games, money, relationships, body, all of it, most important. Your body is also a main one. If your body is ruling over you, you're screwed. So if you have certain things happening, you need to understand where you're at and assess it appropriately. And so when you can kind of hold all this together, set the frame, and then work through it and build off of that, it's a foundation that's just keeps more or less unbreakable in today's world. And if you're willing to date quite a bit, and I'm not saying, I wasn't willing to just date anyone. I was kind of willing to have a conversation with about anyone, and then see what it was from there. But I was very accurate at saying, like, this is who I am. And if you're outside of this, I'm going to scare you off just by presenting myself and having a certain posture. And with that posture, it demands a certain level of someone coming back to me. Now, there were a few attempts of craziness, and I can look in somebody's eyes and be like, no, absolutely not. So, but then others are like, let me find out who you are. What are you about? What's this? What's that? Very curious, very open, and just cool, chill. Not looking for sex or something, crazy. Looking for a friendship, which we built. And also on top of that, that also gave us the time to kind of see how our kids, responded, how friends responded, how, like, what things that were happening in life were going to be dealt with. And we're just working through that process. And it's like, it just, I seriously am constantly more and more impressed. Whereas in my past relationships, it was like all this intensity in the beginning, and then it just kind of like didn't really get any higher than that. It kind of built up, peaked, and just didn't really get any higher than that. And it just kind of was there. And I'm not saying it was the other person's fault any more than my own, but what is very much different is we continue to just, like, this is how it should be. And amazing. Is there anything else that's come to mind that you want to?
I don't think so. I mean,
Anything you would say to, anything else to the woman that's like, no, I need to know, or that type of, like the arguments that I was getting in, and what happens, and this is common, is these women would start an argument, and then I would go at them and I would just say, no, I would just tell them the truth, but aggressively. And I'd just say, no, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Look at your results, look at mine. That's the truth. And they get offended. Now I'm an asshole.
I think that it's just like, if you want to kiss, like, do whatever you want, like, who cares, right? But I think that that it's just different when you decide to, like, consciously create something different. When you are really trying to, like, if you really want to know somebody, and so you can assess whether they're right or wrong for you, to not add in the extra stuff, it's like, it just makes it, I don't know, easier to let go if they're not right. It's just, it worked. It was good for us. I really appreciated it. Enjoy the whole journey, the whole process. And I did not like when the guys would try to kiss me, even on the first dates, because it was like, I have a lot of guy friends and girlfriends and guys that I may even go out to eat with or whatever. And I don't make out with all of them. Like, I don't want to make out with you if I don't even know you or know anything about you. Like, let's get to know each other a little bit, 4 months, maybe, I don't think it has to have a specific timeline. Whatever it feels good, it feels right. But for us, it just so happened to be 4 months, and I appreciated it. I didn't need a kiss to know that I was enjoying my time with you. Like, I knew before I met Mac how I wanted to feel in a relationship, and I was feeling those feelings without the kiss. So it wasn't a really, like, wasn't.
Well, and you one thing to bring up here is, like, I don't even remember, but you were still also on, like, the dating apps and having conversations and stuff, correct? Like, in the beginning?
Yeah, in the beginning I was like, when we met, I mean, I was talking to other people for sure, but then after I met you and we started actually hanging out, it was like any guy that I would even start a conversation with, I was kind of just like, this is dumb.
She was ready before I was. She had to be a little bit patient with me, kind of figuring it out.
Yeah,
which was also very impressive to me. That it was like, just like, I had a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, but it's good because I really was, I wanted you to know what you wanted and to really have the time to, like, figure it out without forcing anything, because I want a man, like, I want you to I want to,
You wanted me to choose you,
yeah.
and just be certain that when I chose you, I was certain that I was choosing you, not just because you were the best option or something. It was like, no, this is what I want.
Yeah, because I knew that, I didn't have to force anything, because, like, I didn't have any real expectations of what was going to happen between us. Like I said, I just knew I was enjoying our time together, and I didn't want it to end. And, and however, I even told you at one point, like, if you need to go out on more dates, like, go do that, because I want to be certain, my own certainty, that when he's ready, if he wants to kiss me, like, he will, and I'm going to enjoy the crap out of it when it happens, and I did. And that's it.
And one of the things about this too is, like, if I was in a position where I was like, if she was still dating or doing whatever, I was like, hey, it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to commit to something until I know who you are and everything else. So, like, she could have been doing whatever, like going out, fucking around, doing anything. Now that might have changed my perspective on it and may have not continued or something. But if she'd have gone on a date and kissed somebody, I'd have been like, so what? What's like, that's her style. Probably never even, this has probably never even been considered before for most people. And so if it's happening, okay, it's happening. However, I do strongly suggest it. I would say, if you haven't actually thought this through and thought about the power that lies behind this type of behavior, where, like rule number one is listen to people that have what you want and have been where you are. Number two is like, are you willing to learn? Like, and that says, are you willing to change? Because if you're not willing to change, you're not willing to learn. It's just a good idea.
It's like if you want something different, you need to do different things. And if, patterns keep repeating and you're not getting what you want in relationship, perhaps it's you try something different. And it's different isn't always easy, but I think
No.
it
Well,
can be worth it.
when you're going to change something, it's what quantifies your willingness to learn. And when you're changing something, it means, what are you going to give up? Or what are you going to sacrifice? Because you might think you have room to change. You might think, well, I could do something different. I have time to do it. I have money to do it, or I have the emotional capacity to do it. I don't care what you're doing. If you change something, you are giving something up. If it's time, you're taking time from something else that you're doing, even if it's sitting on your ass scrolling. You still have to take the time from that. And right now, that's giving you something. If you're paying money into something, you're still giving the money up that you worked for or earned or something. Or if it's that emotional piece that is like, I want this kiss or whatever, but I'm going to give it up. What it does is it intensifies your focus to learn. To figure out exactly what you want, to manifest those things. And anytime you intensify the emotion of the energy, it's going to help you manifest, because you're focused. It's, what you think about what you will become. So if your thinking is positive and you continue to move forward and you're giving something up for it, your intensity of emotion is extremely high and very, very powerful, and the truth will get revealed. So be honest, be willing to do something different, really think this through. And if anybody wants to argue with me about it, I'm all for it. Bring it, because I will fucking kick your ass on this subject, because I've thought about it for 30 years. Most of you haven't.
It's like if you go on a date and you kiss a guy, and 3 weeks later he's not showing up for you in the way that you wish he would, but you guys had that kiss, then all of a sudden you're like upset because, well, we kiss and this and this and this,
and been something.
but you didn't have the opportunity to really see, where is this man really at?
Yeah, maybe he just gets excited, does whatever, but you don't know his financial situation. You don't know his relationships, if he has other things going on, kids, friendships, if he's an alcoholic, if like none of this stuff that So if you have a wonderful date, it's amazing, best thing ever. Even the third date, everything's amazing, and then you kiss, and again everything's flowing, and it's just fucking amazing. You've already romanticized, you're already head over heels, you're in the relationship, and now it takes something destructive to get you out. Versus just being patient. Just wait. My daughter actually waited. Like, she found this kid, like she was going to date this other kid, and then this other kid shows up, and she's kind of like, well, I kind of like him. He's kind of fun, but he's a little bit crazy. And I told her the truth. I was like, this kid wants to get in your pants. Straight up simple. I don't fucking like him. I don't think that's what you're about. But I mean, if you want to kiss him, I guess if that's your objective, go for it, whatever. And so she kind of thought about it, whatever, went through it, and they didn't really become a thing, but they just kind of stayed together, and they just kind of like moved together and around here and around this. And there were other people kind of involved here and there, but they weren't really there. And then one day he just changed, and he just kind of went all in. And at that point she was like, okay, now I'm in. And they've had a amazing relationship over, they've been together well over a year now, maybe a year and a half or something, but they've known each other for a couple of years. And so it was a very similar type of thing. She wasn't really dating others, because she was like, I think he's the one, but just not right now. And so she just waited.
I think that whether you are kissing or not kissing, like a healthy masculine man, a healthy man. When I say healthy, I mean like a man is that he knows what he wants. He's a healthy masculine man. Um, whether you're kissing or not, like he will show you if he wants you, if he's into you, like you will know, there will be no question
Yeah.
whether you're kissing or not. I mean, there's men like that, like Mac, and like healthy men aren't wishy-washy when it comes to what they want.
Yeah. And for me, the kissing thing was like, I don't want any confusion. I want a friendship. So why would I go around fucking kissing women if I'm looking for a friendship first? If I want a best friend, why would I be going around kissing them all? That makes no sense. Like, I know what it's going to do to them. They're going to fall head over heels, and then they're all going to fall in love. And then I'm going to be like, none of them are going to know which one I'm dating. They're all going to think they're the one. Like, no, like y'all can be friends.
I felt like the ones that were trying to kiss me on the first dates, especially, were the ones that like it didn't really matter like who I was, like they just wanted somebody to kiss.
Yeah. And it's not always like they're looking for sex either. They're just like they're so desperate for a girl, or a woman so desperate for a relationship in a guy. And to be honest, y'all are pretty fucked up. Yeah, and I say that kindly and speaking from experience. Like it took me 40 plus years to get there. Right? Like things weren't perfect. I was too weak in the beginning, got cheated on, didn't leave until the third time, which at that point I had to leave because I just had to respect myself at that level. Hurt like hell, but I was so in love, I didn't know what else to do. Right. The second one, I stayed there hoping and potential that something would click and work out. Very amazing woman, very cool stuff, everything else, but it just never was right. Then moved on to the next one. And during this one is when I fixed all my fucking problems. And once I fixed them all, that all my major addictions, troubles, struggles, all these different things, I kind of got them all mostly, either exposed or revealed or dealt with. Like I quit drinking, smoking. I used to drink a 12-pack of Mountain Dew a day practically, like just sugar nonstop. So I'd like all that stuff, porn and masturbation, even cheated once, and then like exposed everything, got rid of all that stuff. Like what a fucking blessing. Like that was the reward of that relationship. And so then, this is where I'm at.
And you were still married while you were getting ready for me. And I was, but you didn't know you were getting ready
Yeah.
for me. And I was going on 40, 50 dates,
Yeah.
getting ready for you.
and it just works out. Now at the same time, we both knew what we wanted. We're not thinking worst case scenario, we're thinking best case scenario, being completely open, allowing her, if she wanted to go on other days, she could have. She was allowing me the space that I needed, and without restriction, to saying, because if this is right, then it's just going to work out.
It will be. You can't miss what's meant for you.
Yeah, it's like divine, like God ordained type thing. You can't mess with it. So why get worked up over it? Why would a kiss even be relevant to that? It's really not. So yeah, I mean, there's a few other things, but I think at this point, like I'll probably do a training on this type of thing where interacting with people. If you have questions, bring them to us. Bring them to me. Like, well, what do I do in this situation? Well, what about this? What about that? Like, I mean, that's the stuff I love to actually get into, even though I'm kind of like, do this or whatever. Now, the reality is I would rather figure out where you're at and then kind of say, okay, let's look at this and let's build you into a bigger, better person so that you attract all the amazing things that are designed for you in the short future. And so just open your mind first to saying, if you want an amazing relationship, probably means that you don't have one right now. And that means that you're going to have to open your mind to change first and then start changing and getting something different. If you want things in your life to change, you're going to have to change some things in your life. So with that, I'm sure there's going to be a few people that are like giving me the thumbs down. This guy's crazy. He's an asshole, whatever. I don't care. The reality is, if you haven't tried it, or you don't have the ability, the emotional strength or courage to do it, why don't you start working on that first? Work on yourself, build yourself into the person that can do this. It's not my first time that I didn't kiss or whatever. Before my marriage, I didn't really kiss. I didn't have sex. There's a lot of things, that I was similar to this. And that's one of the reasons why I did it this way. So this isn't, again, this is not some just random idea, psychological, this or that. This is years of thought into it, very specifically, of understanding it, not just for myself, but for other people, my kids, what I would teach them, what I wish I would have been taught to some degree. But this is where I was lucky enough to have the forethought to go through it, figure it out. And now I just want to help other people with it. So even if you have kissed, there's still plenty of things to cover when it comes to dating, relationships, and different things like that. So if you've gone through this and you've gone through our podcast and listened to these episodes and everything else, just keep in mind that we do have a membership that, I don't know what the price is going to be by the time you see this, but it will be going up. It might be a good idea to get inside of it. And also, if you have a relationship thing, or you're looking for a relationship, or wanting to work on yourself or build yourself, or maybe it's money, maybe it's different things, and you're looking for the support that you need, or the right questioning, or the coaching, or whatever it is, or maybe it's resources too. If you're looking for that, get a hold of us, plug into the membership. We do some one-on-one coaching. I do a full transformation program that works on your body. If you have health issues, weight issues, whether it's gain weight, lose weight, whatever it is, if she works more with sobriety and different things like that. Like, I can help with it, but she does sobriety. She does a lot of relationship stuff, and just really teaching women how to love themselves so that they can be more whole and actually attract guys, or relationship, or repair. And so plug into what we do, get in, start working on it. And the goal here is that we can share what we've learned so that you guys can get the rewards that we're getting as well. And once we came together, it's like I had built so much stuff, or attempted to build, and just had worked so hard and everything else. And she just kind of comes in, and all this stuff that I had put into play over the last years and years of my life is all of a sudden starting to work. It's like the right person, like she was the key that unlocked or started the engine of all the stuff that I've been building. And so now things are moving, just starting to, it's like moving a locomotive. It's like I built the Titanic or a ship or something, and but there was no key. So it just sat there doing nothing, just rotting, and then it's like, okay, now here we go. So it can be absolutely amazing. All right. So, yeah, plug into the membership if you enjoyed this, or share it, or do whatever. But I hope you gain some little insight into this. And even if you're in a relationship, pass it to your kids. Start thinking about it. Start thinking like, well, what's going to be to their advantage, or to somebody else that actually needs it. Share, somebody's dating, be like, hey, you need to listen to this, because there's some things here you may want to consider. And just, we're here to give. Like, this is why this is free. We're just giving the content so people can win. All right. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you on the next.